Hi Transition Age family, welcome, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you are watching us. Thank you for tuning in, thank you for showing up. Today we have another great man and a wonderful man of God who is here to share his testimony with you, the youth there. And so I want you to tune in, to listen, to subscribe, to share, and to like and comment. To keep us in this place and to keep us around and for the youth to be inspired. So this is a gentleman who is a pastor, a teacher by profession. He will be taking us through his story. Welcome, Pastor Nelson.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, Pastor Nelson, we are glad to have you hosted and featured on Transition Age Show.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Yes, and so please greet our viewers and then we go in the next part.
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, our viewers. I greet you in the name of Jesus Christ. As I have told you, my name is Tukamusima Nelson, a teacher by profession, and I'm also a servant of God. Yeah, at the Healing Power of God. Yeah, that's where I am ministering now.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Pastor Nelson.
You're welcome.
That is who he is, and now he's going to take us through his story. I want you to open your ears. The Nigerians say like this. Yes, we are sorry we are shooting from a car. This is the environment we were able to get, but we thank God at least we are able to pass on the message and it is clear, and that's what is important. So yeah, who is Pastor Nelson?
Okay, Pastor Nelson, as I have told you, my name is Tukamusima Nelson. Yeah, I come from a district called Kabale. I am in Chiga by tribe.
Wow.
Yes, I'm in Chiga by tribe, and I am a son of Mr. and Mrs. James and Judith Chihire from Buchundura, Kashambia, Ruchiga now it's a district.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a district. That's where I was born.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I grew from. That's where I studied in my primary and secondary.
Okay.
That's where I grew from. That's where I come from.
Okay. So
yes.
What was growing up like?
I was born in 1986. Yeah, I've already told you my parents. And I was born in Buchundura, a very remote village. Yes, yes. So that's where I was born, and I grew in the village. I started, by then we didn't have nursery sections.
Yes,
so for us, we used to go directly from primary one.
Okay.
That's where we used to start from, and I remember I went to school the first day. It was Monday, and that Monday, I remember when we reached that school, I saw people I've never seen. Right. So, and by the way, to tell you this, we used to not put on shorts. For us, we used to put on the sweaters.
and
yes,
you stay open.
Yeah, because that's only I remember. I went. It was a Monday, and I went to the class, and they welcomed us, and they did all what they did for us. But only what I remember, that I am telling you now, was that teachers also used not to put on shoes. Yeah, it was serious. Yeah, that was in 19.
And so you reported with your sweater only.
Yeah, that's true. And that was 1994. Yes, 1994. Yeah, and I started my primary one. Things were not simple, and even at home, the family was not well off. By then, my mom had 4 kids, and since she was just new in that area, she had nothing to feed me. She had already given me to my grandparents.
Okay, you were the first born?
No, I was the second born.
Okay.
The first one was a girl. She's called Sharon.
Okay.
Yes, she's still there, but now she's married. Now, and I was the second, then there were other 2.
So you start living with your grandparents?
My grandparents, they were all there, the 2 of them. My grandfather had 2 wives, and they were all together. So One was just staying next to another. There were two homes just next to another.
Okay.
So I grew with my grandmother and my grandfather.
Okay.
For almost 18 years as
all through primary.
Yes. But even my parents were not very far from there. It was just like 100 meters from my grand. It was not very far, so I used to go here and there to my from the house of my grandmother, the house of my parents.
So did you learn to do work because grandies
yes, are not... That's why I am here. Hey. Yeah, that's why I'm here, and I am for sure. For now, I'm telling you, personal, I don't advise parents to take their children to the grandparents because yes, because for them they are already tired.
Yeah, they didn't have time to grow.
They were tired, and I did not grow well as I'm supposed to grow with my parents because there are things that old people do which are not good for the young ones to grow with them. Okay, the grand jiggers. So from school, I was telling you from primary one. There, I remember I used to know what to do, but my grandmother could say, "Don't do it, my child. Come and we sleep." I could sleep with my grandmother. Yes, and he calls me even a husband, and he hugs me. So I grew when I'm not well organized the way I'm supposed to be.
So you didn't know the challenges of life and struggles.
Yes, Pastor. So that is, I didn't know that I'm being affected, but I thought I'm being loved. I thought I'm being loved, and from there, I remember my grandmother. Later, my grandfather died, and I stayed with my grandmother.
So in that same home in primary, or
I was still in primary. He died when I was still in primary, but he was only my best friend there. Because later on, my grandmother changed after getting busy. You know, in cavalry, there is a saying that if you have two children, and one is a girl and another one is a boy, when they grow up, these parents, the grandparents, love the children of the girl than the children of the boy. Yeah, their son.
And they love, is the real relative.
They love the grandchildren of their daughter than the grandchildren of their sons.
How is that?
That's the. I think
it's just natural.
Yeah, it is natural in the cavalry. Yeah, the daughter's children are loved.
So these grandparents of yours were maternal or paternal?
They were paternal.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So I decided to do what? To go away. When my parents told me to go to school, and I could go to school, then I come back home. But there is something which developed in my life when I was still young. So my grandparent who remained did not take care of me. I got a problem. And that problem was just I suffered from jiggers.
Oh, jiggers. In the villages, they are there.
They are too. They were, I don't know whether even today they are still there. But because because they don't take care of you, they don't bathe you, they don't advise you how you should bathe. So for me, I could even spend a week without bathing. That was around 8 years, 7 years, 9 years there. Nobody could advise me to go and bathe. My grandmother could come when she's already tired and she just sleeps, and I also go and sleep. So I faced that challenge of jiggers.
You were the only child around there?
I was only the child who was staying with my grandmother. Yes.
Okay.
So that's how I got a problem, and I used to fear people. I used to fear people, and I started hiding myself. My legs, I could not stand where people are, so that they don't see me. So the problem I had was that one. Then another, I remember when we were still young. So these aunties, they used to bring their children at home, and that is my best time. I loved to have them come and friends. But to friends for what? That's the only problem which were there. I don't know how this habit came to me, I started having sex with them when they were still young. I started.
These are your cousins?
Yes, they were my cousins.
And how did you learn about sex?
I don't know. I think there is a demon which taught me. Because I don't. Okay.
Do you remember?
There is something which has come in my mind. I had my sister. From a sister of a daughter of my uncle. I think that is my sister. Yes, yeah. I think for here in Uganda, for us we call them uncles. We don't call them father. My young father. Here they call them young fathers.
They are still uncles in English.
Yes. So in English we call them uncles.
So the daughter of your uncle is your cousin. Your cousin sister.
Okay, is my cousin sister. I think so. So she taught me.
Yeah, she was way older.
She was almost like 15 years. So she used to carry me as a baby. Yeah, she would go on me and carry me, hug me, and after she told me to do something, I'm going to do something. Don't tell your grandmother. Don't tell anybody. Just do it. Do whatever I tell you to do. And I said, okay, fine. She started doing things that I did not understand. So later I also liked them.
Of course.
Yeah,
the body adjusts. I
liked them, and we used to do them hiding. We could hide ourselves in some bushes. We could go together to fetch water. We could go together to fetch firewood. So I started also training others. That was around 9 years, 10 years. Started training my young sisters. So that was almost a very dangerous thing. I remember that tender age what I did. So, and parents, parents should know this also, and even young ones, that you can do something when you're still young and nobody can know.
For sure.
And for sure nobody knew what I was doing. Nobody for sure
could do it.
Yes.
In the bushes.
So that is the habit I did. And even at school, I started doing it at school, getting some young girls from the class, taking them in the toilet. So it became a habit in my life. So I tried to stop it, but it could not. Yeah, it was too late for me to stop it. So yeah, so I reached. In fact, it increased. As
you grew.
Yes, it increased, and I started having. This demon started giving me even some more wisdom, knowledge to do it. I started even finding those who are sleeping. I started walking at night. I don't know how they call it. It's not raping, because they don't know. Raping, you force. But this one, they are already sleeping. So I could do it when they are sleeping without knowing. Then I go back to my sleep. So it was very dangerous. It was very dangerous, because the old woman could not wake up. So these aunties who brought their children at home at my grandmother's place and leave them there. That's how I used to do it. I wake up from my bed and go where they are sleeping. I also sleep slowly where they are, and this demon taught me those things, because just picked it from my sister. My uncle's
when she told
daughter.
Then
I started from there, and she was very old. Yeah, she was very old.
She was in puberty.
Okay, in puberty. I don't know where she learned it from, and she's the one who taught me how to do those things. Now, from there, I started my P1, P2, P3 with my jiggers, and at school everybody knew that if they are looking for someone with jiggers, they have to start with me.
What? They were too much. You could not even walk properly.
Now, you have reminded me one thing. My aunt bought shoes when she was still a girl, those years. So she used to wear them, and they got old. And I think she dumped them somewhere. So one time I was on the ceiling. We had that local ceiling of ours, which they used the papyruses to make a ceiling. So I found them there. I was on the ceiling and I found them there. Oh, I was very happy, because the legs were rotten. Yeah, they were rotten seriously, and I could not walk. So I was looking for what to do. I used to stay in my grandmother's house. I used to fear even to come out because of the rotten feet. Yeah. So I got them and I put them and I was very happy.
They were not paining you.
They were paining, but I had nothing to do. Even they could bring fever. Yeah, they could bring me fever, and I remember it was a very tough. Those years were very tough for me, and I will never forget. So
you could not tell grandma that I have a problem, or just feared?
She was less concerned about that. She was less concerned. She could know. Even her, she used to have them.
You definitely.
Yeah, they used to have them there. She used also to have hers. So it was, she used to have hers, and I could see her removing hers, but she could not mind about mine.
You struggled like that.
Yeah, it was I remember it was a very tough life for me that I've ever met in my life.
Were you not bullied because of that?
For sure, that is what it even brought me to fear people. I used to fear to talk to people, to come where people are. And I grew fearing people completely because of that. Because I remember there is a teacher called Batista, those people there. One time they checked and they found very many jiggers in my feet.
Yeah.
So what he did, he called the whole assembly, called all the classes.
But you were young.
By then I think by then I was in primary 5. Yes, I was in primary 5. So he called the parade and put me on the desk up and told some 2 big boys to raise my legs up so that children can see. And the legs were looking at everybody were touching on the mouth and said, "Oh my God!" So that's when my parents also got to know about it. There are some children, people who went and reported me at home. But even my father and mother did not do anything because they had, by then now we had almost 7, we were now 7 children. So even if they told them they had nothing to do because they could not feed us all. They had no food and they were just struggling. Even those who were there were struggling. At least my grandparents had some food. But at home, my mom and my dad, they didn't have food. Yes.
Oh my God.
So that's how I grew up to then P6. There I started getting some knowledge how to deal with my jiggers. I started removing them, started bathing, started washing. Then in fact, I think by then I was 12 years. I was 12 years. So I started also admiring. Now this spirit which was in me introduced me to also start conning girls. I don't know if it is conning, but I think it is.
It is.
Yes. Started also writing some small letters to these girls. I started writing letters. I started talking to them. So I had to make sure that I'm smart. For them. I had to look for some money for them. Started
where would you get the money from?
I started growing some sugar cane, sorghum. So we used to sell them. There is something I've forgotten to tell you. Before the death of my grandfather, he had taught us how to make money through growing crops, small tobacco, peas, wheat. In fact, he was a farmer, so he had taught us how to make some small little money. So we could also have our own gardens, and then in those gardens we could grow our own, and then we sell and we get money. Remember, the family was a drunkard family.
They used to drink.
Exactly. And by then, people in our village could say, if you don't have alcohol in your home, then you're not a man. So my grandfather used to have alcohol at home. We had even a press
for producing yourself.
We had a resignation, a press where we had just put there so that we only go to drink alcohol from there.
So you've learned how to drink at a tender age.
By then I was able even to make alcohol.
Oh my God.
Yes, I learned how to make alcohol. I started buying these bananas. I squeeze them and I make alcohol for myself. I sell, and also the remaining we used to drink. So I was also a drunkard man. I think a drunkard boy, not a drunkard
very
man.
young, and
Yeah.
you can drink, you're drinking, you're sleeping
I learned,
around.
but I do not. I only had this habit of sleeping with girls when they are not aware. Then I used to fear to meet these ones who are awake,
You can't
to face them and
you
talk to
can't
them.
even approach
No,
them.
no. The demon could not allow me to do that. So I like these ones who are
Asleep.
And even, by the way, another demon which was very dangerous, the same demon, it could also take me to these young ones who don't know what to do.
He also
Yes,
initiate them the way you were.
Because they used not to give them the knickers and what. It was very terrible. It was very terrible. So for you see me carrying your baby, you think that I love that baby, but inside there was that demon.
Oh my goodness.
It was a very dangerous thing, I'm telling you. And
so
whenever there are times when I am praying, I remember that those days and I cry. I say, God, thank you for forgiving me. Yeah. Because it is so painful. I look at mine, I have children also. So I remember those days I say, God, really, you need to forgive me for sure. For that.
And he does. He does.
Yeah.
Oh, so you are growing, you are you go to secondary?
Down in
you were
P7.
in the same school, the same
no,
primary?
It was a bit far.
Primary, the whole primary you studied in
yes,
the same school?
I studied in one school.
Okay.
That year, P7, my P7, I remember, it was a miracle. It was a miracle. It is okay. It is, since I'm giving the story, my story about this, there is something I will never forget. I didn't know anything in a paper.
You were a candidate. And
I was a candidate. Yet in P1 I didn't know. I started learning. Then in P2 I became the second. To P3 I became the second and the third.
Not a bad performer. But now in P7?
In P4, because of these jiggers, I used to fear to go to school. So I could hide myself. Yes, I could hide and I could fear people in class to sit with them. They used to refuse. They used to discriminate me. So I felt so discouraged. So I stopped running. Not until P7 reached and I had nothing to do. So our teachers, they helped us. It was a deep village, yes. They
you cheated
us.
Yes. PLE.
Yes. They helped
you
us.
Yeah. Somebody should receipt papers here.
No. They helped us.
So, but you were able to finish.
They helped us somewhere, somehow. And that was the miracle that it was a miracle on my side. Because I knew nothing. But when we joined why am I saying that was a miracle to me? When I joined senior 1, remember at our family nobody had ever gone to senior 1, secondary. I was the first person to go there.
Okay. So did you pass with the first grade or still
second grade with 16?
Okay.
Yeah. Second grade with 16 aggregates.
You're going
S1. Yeah. Then by S1 there, at least my brain was at least getting to know.
But how are they paying school fees? Your grandparents are the ones paying?
Where in primary? Primary, we are not paying. I started with you. By the way, I'm a product of UPE.
Hey, you're a recent
one. I started with UPE P1. That's when they told us no more paying. They were paying 6,000 by then as school fees, but it was too much.
It was too much for parents.
Yes, in 1994. That money was too much. 6,000 was too much because I remember a big plot like 50 by 100. In our area was almost like 20,000. So yeah, so 60,000. I mean 6,000 was too much. Yeah.
Okay.
So we finished my UPE with a prayer that I was not paying. Then I joined the secondary. So I joined a very good secondary. I wanted that is the Kantale Secondary School. Primary was called Chehinde Primary School. Okay. Then now I'm joining Kantale, not in Tale. This one is Kantale. Yeah. But it was the best school in Wichiga by then. It was the best school in Wichiga. Now it is a district. It was a sub-county by then. Okay. But now it is a district. So it was the best school. I joined it. And my parents told me they are going to pay school fees.
Okay.
Somehow, somewhere they failed, and I started selling alcohol, paying for myself.
You were in boarding?
In the boarding, we were the scholars.
I
started putting on shorts when I was in primary 4. Yes, shorts. Because I told you that I used to put on t-shirt, sweaters with long sleeves.
As long as it can be like a dress.
And you could hide yourself there when it rains and you're feeling cold. And you put the knees there, the legs inside, even the hands. And one person could come and push you like this, and you just roll like a ball. Yeah. So now I'm in secondary. Now I'm started putting on shorts. Yeah, in secondary. It was very. I liked that life so much.
The best you could ever get.
But no shoes.
Still, yes. In high school,
I had not bought any shoe at all. I've been senior 1, senior 2.
And it was common. Everyone else was.
Yeah, it was common. Apart from those who were well off, we had some families which were good. So for them, they had shoes, but for us, we didn't have shoes. So the life was there. Now, second was a bit also challenging to me. That's when I started learning how to steal. I started stealing money
from home.
From home. I started from my grandmother. Slowly by slowly, 200. It was too much. 200.
And you use it for what? For girls or for buying your own things?
For buying it. The best eat we used to buy was yellow bananas. And one bunch of banana was almost like 300, sorry.
Right.
Yes, 300, yes, a bunch.
Okay.
Yeah, so we used to steal the money in senior 1, senior 2, then even senior 3.
You went to fit in with your friends.
Senior 4, I started working at night. From midnight to 4 a.m.
Doing what?
Stealing.
Hey.
So now I am.
You upgraded.
Yeah, I upgraded that habit also. We were 4, and some of them died. So they are no longer there.
Because they were killed.
They were killed. One was killed stealing the pig. Another one was killed raping the girl. Another one was killed. So we are 4. I'm the only one remaining. So that's what. Yeah.
So one died when you would be dead already. Also.
Yes, of course. And I was supposed to die, in fact, because I remember one night we went to steal a goat in someone's family.
You stole, and even to the extent of stealing goats.
We ate goats. Yes, we ate them. And I didn't know. I didn't know anything. These people just introduced it to me, and I was just following them. But I was the best. I used to slaughter for them. They didn't know how to slaughter, so I was the best person to slaughter for them. So I was talented in that.
They steal for you. You slaughter.
I slaughter. But we were together.
And then you do what? You burn it, roast it.
Yeah, we could roast and cook, because in senior 3 and 4, we decided to hire a small
house. At what age? About 16?
It was 15. I was 15, 16 there. 17, around 17, yeah. I was 17.
A teenager.
There.
There.
It was very tough for me, I am telling you. Yeah, and then I started stealing things, people's bananas. We could go even in the garden and get some sweet potatoes.
In the night?
Yes, night, from midnight up to 4 a.m.
When do you ever sleep?
Now that was the mission we had. We used to call them missions because we watched TV films. You see these people. That's why when you see some people interested, I used to like these films of stealing because they used to teach us something. Yes. So whenever you watched them, I could see how they
do for entertainment. Instead, it's training people.
Yes. And I always see the parents leaving the children with some movies and they learn. The children are learning a lot, and a lot of things they have learned them from the TV, from the screen, from the films they watch, and even from the phones, I think. So I learned how to steal. I was now a senior. I started stealing on myself. I could walk at night. Whenever I see a very well grown banana at your home, I visit you at night. and I take
And
it.
you go with it.
Yes, the rabbits, the hen, we ate them, and but the best thing I had was reading books. Now I knew secondary they are not going to cheat for me. I started reading books seriously. Started maybe to take you back in senior 1, senior 2. We had these lamps you see, electricity was not there. So we used to read books from the cooking stones. You put in firewood, so when the fire burns, you put the book like this, then you read. You revise your books like this.
Not all of us even.
Yeah, they were not there. Those ones were not. Okay, they were there, but money to buy paraffin was not there. Yeah, it was not there. The only money that we used to have was to buy salt. And by then salt was 100 and 200. That is the only money we used to have. Even soap.
And soap, yes.
And to buy a soap, but even to buy a soap was also a problem. So we could bathe once in a week.
And you were still in these things.
Yeah. By the way, Kawari, I don't know why Kawari is a very different place. Even if you spend a week without bathing,
it's cold, yes, and you can't sweat.
You can't sweat, you cannot smell.
Okay.
Yeah, you cannot sweat, you cannot smell. So that's how we used to go. Then I used to read books from that fireplace, and I started calculating numbers from there. So that's how we grow in secondary. Then after that, senior 4. I'm now in senior 4. I remember I rented a small house where I used to steal things, taking them, and I could bypass at home. At night I could come home and I see my father's there, and my father, my mother, all of them, they are asleep. Then in my heart I could say, these people, they don't know their son.
And indeed they don't know.
They don't know.
That's why if somebody says your son did this, the parent would even put the hand, they cut it.
And even up to now, if you say, if I don't know whether the good thing, my mother does not understand English.
But now that you're born again, you can raise.
I've never told you this story. You are the one who have brought me here to speak out. But I've never told you. She has never heard about this story. And out of the 10 children that she has, because we are 10 at home, out of the 10 children she has, she knows that I'm the best boy. 5 boys. I'm the best.
God has transformed you into the best.
Yeah, he has done it. But even before, for her, she used to tell her.
Yes, to be honest, even me, the things you say, they're really contrary to who you are now.
Sure.
But too humble.
I was a very dangerous man.
Inside me,
it was very dangerous in food. In fact, I thank Jesus because he's the one who did this for me. So that's how I used to. In senior 4, I rented the house, started stealing things. I used to steal goats, rabbits, chicken, matoke, sweet potato, Irish potatoes. We used to steal them. So I joined the senior 4. We did our senior 4 there. There was no help, like a piece of it. We did it for ourselves. Okay. Yeah.
And still the performance was good.
And the performance, I also got 2nd grade.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was able to join the PTC. In fact, I joined this senior 5, but because of money, I failed to complete. Okay. Just go to the senior 5 and I joined teaching.
Okay, but this habit of women, you are still with it?
When I grew up, it started reducing, but it was inside me. I had lust. I can call now. I understand what I had. It was lust. I could lust at them, but I used to fear them. I used to fear
only use an advantage of the one
who is sleeping, and even up to that age, because I remember. Oh my God. God should forgive me for sure. I have my cousin. After my grandfather dying, they brought a smaller cousin at home. That one I turned her as like my. She was like my wife at that age. But I had to sleep with her when she's asleep. I could go when she's asleep, and she could.
She was very young also.
She was very young. She was in when I was in 17, because that's when I started visiting her. There I was already grown up, a big boy.
Yes.
So for her, she was in 12, 12, 13 there. So I was ahead of her 5 years. They brought her to help my grandmother because I used to go to secondary and I didn't come back. For her, she was still in primary. And where she is now, really, I always pray for her because also that spirit,
yeah, especially as incest.
Yes, it attacked her, and she started also loving men like nothing. Yeah, because at when I remember, I used even to, I had this spirit of peeping people, so I used to look for where she is. No, I used to, that very one. I don't know how this demon came in me, and I started loving her more than any other person. I didn't want any other person. So wherever she could go, either for whenever she could go to bathe, I could look for where to climb so that I can see her.
My goodness.
Yes, this spirit is very dangerous, and it is in the young, around 15, 16, around there. It's very dangerous.
The body starts
it reacts when the child is in puberty, happy, but when a boy or I see I talk about the boys because those are the ones I know. So in that puberty stage is very dangerous. I even used to steal her nika, and I want to smell that.
My God, that was
you want me to tell you these things? They are very dangerous. I was a very dangerous guy for sure. I was a very dangerous guy. And I used to, when I sit down and I think about them, I say, really, God is thank you. Yes, I used to steal her nika so that I can just have that smell.
You were obsessed with her.
I was obsessed with her. I loved her. The level I reached, I started putting some holes even in the house. I dig a hole so that it was a kitchen, yeah. So the kitchen, I knew where she used to sit, so I could direct where she's sitting, and I put a hole so that I can peep for her when she's inside. Then for me, they told me, "Can you enter inside and sit on the fireplace?" I say, I feel
and yet if you sit there, you will see her direct. Why do you want to?
No, but my grandmother was always there, so I knew she's going to see me, and two, I fear people to see me. I want to do it secretly. Nobody knew that.
Oh my goodness.
Nobody knew that. I was obsessed with her. So I put a smaller hole in the chain, and I used to sit outside. Then when they are sitting, I peep from that very hole. I remain there for almost like 2 hours, 3 hours, just there without moving.
Your cousin.
Yeah. And this spirit grew that I could even hide myself in the house, wait for her until she come in the evening to undress her, to change the clothes so that I can see her. So I was always on the ceiling.
That was serious. That means you won't focus or do anything.
No. I could not do any other work. After coming back from school, I could wait for her because I used to be the first at home, so that I can see her. So I could run very fast from school, so that I find when she has not yet reached, then I go somewhere where I can see her.
Able to see.
Yes, so she could undress herself, and I say, then at night, I'm already on fire.
That is too much. Oh my God. Oh, and so you finished senior 4?
Then I finished my senior 4. I went back home for that vacation. Then afterwards, time was reached to go to the next level. I joined the St. Joseph Buchinda.
Technical.
Yeah, I know it was a secondary school. Yeah, St. Joseph.
S5.
S5.
Oh, okay.
So I studied there. I failed to complete the school fees. They tested me. I went back home. I started looking for the PTC.
Okay.
I went to Chisolo. I failed. They refused me. I had already got that spirit of rejection now. It came upon me. I saw it when people I had the good marks than them. They could give them places at the vacancies, but they rejected mine. I went to Nyakina, it is in Rukunjiri, they rejected me. Went to Buchinda in Kavale, they refused it. I went to this one in Ntungamo, they refused me. 4 colleges, PTCs, they refused it. So somebody told me that there is a college in Kampala called the Buloba PTC.
Okay. And you joined the Buloba PTC.
I joined the Buloba PTC.
So we are going to finish our segment from here.
Okay.
Then in the next part, he's going to tell us his journey of college and everything that happened later. Keep tuned, keep here. You see what God can do. Such a man who used to be incestuous, who used to be a fornicator, who had all these spirits in him, but now is here testifying. He can do the best for you as well, and he can there's nobody he cannot transform, no matter what level you are on. So yeah, we are going to take a break, and then when we come back in part 2, we shall resume from there. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Naomi. Transitioned Show. Thank you so much. May God bless you.